So Yakima's been my home for 35 years, essentially my entire professional life. From that perspective, I would view on March 23rd snow in Yakima to be an extreme weather event.
Let me put forth the 5 critical themes that we will address and integrate: health and wellness, poverty, education, and prosperity, environment, society, culture, and media, and government and policy.
Good morning, everybody. My name is David Kennedy. I was the founding director of the Bill Lane Center for the American West, and also it's the case that I grew up in Washington State. So I want to welcome you all. I want to say a particular thanks to Martha Polakoff and Jerry. Martha is on our advisory council and had a role in putting all this thing here together for us today. Just as there's no single answer to the question of how to improve conditions of life in the rural American West, so there is no single actor or agency or entity that can do the job on its own.
We're really looking for those places where there's something unique about a university. Maybe it's the ability to do fact-finding, maybe it's that it would be able to convene or be trusted where others aren't, case studies, subject matter expertise.
And I think that Yakima is also a good example of, for a community of its size, a community that has taken control of some of those issues.
How do you define wellness? Think about the time in your life when you had the most wellness and the time in your life when you had the least. Those are simple questions.
So unless you consider all the different variables and factors internally and externally that has an effect on a person, they're not going to attain wellness.
Healthcare is really pretty backwards. There's no systemic use of collaborative capacity building, consensus building types of processes.
Collaborative efforts can work. We're living examples of that. Hammered out that language, and I can tell you, man, we hammered on it.
I think that's what we need in the West is political leaders and private sector leaders who are willing to make a decision. So much of what goes on these days is kicking the can down the road, and the only thing that happens to that is the can gets dented and rusts out eventually.
I said this is not the start nor the finish. We're all involved to convene, collaborate, and commit to a better rural West.
So you would think that a state that 60 or 75% of the people believe that climate change is real and the consequences is something you have to deal with, you would think that the state of California would be on top of sea level rise.
This was among the most destructive wildfire seasons in California's history. The health impacts of wildfires are certainly something that cannot be ignored.
Protecting public safety, I know, is important to everyone in the rural West, and I'll tell you there, most important things we can do is have plans in place before a fire ever starts.
So what can we learn from this very large effort to deal with water shortages, climate change, fish habitat, etc. in the Yakima Basin?
One way we know change is coming because Eliot said, these men and those they oppose and those who oppose them accept the Constitution of Silence and are folded into a single party. So a generation of leaders is going. There's new ones coming. I hope there are signs that it might be positive, but there's no guarantee.
We got to remember that all of us have fallen on hard times at different points, and every one of us, our job is to pick every other person up and give them an opportunity to succeed and not fail. And in doing so, I think rural Washington, rural America, rural California, rural Oregon, rural Midwest is going to become the shining star that we all need and depend on, because they feed and provide for us.
In these times, if I is replaced by we, then illness migrates to willness. We, the people, working together, can collaborate to take on the crises and enhance the opportunity for sustainability.